On this episode, we talk about our last trip, including our first stay at the Swan, a little update on Food and Wine Festival, some bar hopping, and more. Today is September 10th, 2022. This is episode 494 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. We know that planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating, especially when it comes to booking your ADRs, but Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations because they'll alert you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. You can visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. And then finally, if you're getting ready to plan your next Disney or Universal vacation, looking to go on a cruise or pretty much travel anywhere else in the world, head to mainstmagictravel.com and fill out a form for a free quote. Our travel services are completely free to you. So we are we're somewhat fresh off of a trip, and then we go on another trip tomorrow. We've got a slam-packed September, actually slam-packed next month, I'll say.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff do we have coming up?
Well, let's see. We're recording on Thursday, and this comes out on Friday, and we will be headed to Universal for Halloween Horror Nights.
You excited?
No.
We had a blast last year.
Okay, I'm excited to be with friends.
Yes. We have a good big group going. Also,
did you
meeting
say
up
group?
with. I was trying to think of saying big group, and it kind of came out as a group, something like that. But it was a big group. We have a big group, and we're meeting up with another big group. It is our friend Justin's 40th birthday. So happy birthday, Justin. You can check him out on his new, this is Justin Monorail from, the old Monday Morning Monorail podcast. He now has a brand new podcast, Passholder Lounge. We actually will be guests on it here in next couple of weeks.
Yep.
So go check it out and go ahead and wish him a happy 40th birthday. Such a young child. What else do we have?
Well, then we come back and we work. And unfortunately, I work all day on your birthday.
That's okay. We're going to celebrate the day after.
But then we have that weekend, we're home.
Yes.
And we are going to get ready for the next week because then I work. And then I've got a slam pack Thursday. And then Friday, September 23rd, we are going to be driving to Port Canaveral to get on our very first ever Disney cruise. And not only that, but it is the brand new boat, the Wish.
Yes.
And I guess apparently we don't know how to take just family vacations anymore because we're going with a great group of friends on that as well.
So fun. I'm
so excited. We've got Rachel and Chris. We've got Lucy and Caleb. We've got Steve and Kim. And then we've got...
what's going to be amazing
people
is that
we know.
The Dish on the Wish will be there. So Jim Hill, Lynn Testa, entire touring plans group is going as well. I can't wait to connect with a bunch of those people. Can't wait to see Lynn. I've never met Jim Hill. I'm very excited to meet him. So that's going to be super fun. And then we follow up that weekend as well, don't we?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Lord of mercy. Then we come back. I work some more. And then we go to DizCon, but then we do Mickey's Not So Scary again.
Yeah.
We go to DizCon. We go to After Hours at Epcot on Epcot's 50th anniversary.
40th.
Excuse me, 40th with Rachel. I'm so excited for that.
That is going to be a blast. They just announced the meet and greet. So if you want to know all about that, you can go to the Give Kids the World site, which is gktw.org and then /DizCon. Learn all about it. We will be there. We'll have a vendor booth, and then we will be doing the after hours party. We have a whole bunch of our Be Nice to Cast member shirts in both black and red that we will be selling at our booth. So if you're out there, $20, come by. We would love to meet you, say hello, buy a shirt, support cast members, all that good stuff. And then you can learn about the after hours party as well. It is going to be super cool. You're going to have access to Cosmic Rewind, Mission Space, Test Track. There's going to be dessert party happening, basically. There's going to be meet and greet. Some of the characters will include Star-Lord and Gamora.
Yes.
Chip and Dale in their Rescue Ranger outfits. Who else was there? I'm trying to remember. Donald in, I think, his Test Track outfit. Like, it's going to be a whole bunch of cool characters.
I started to say, who is Rachel and I caring more about? Obviously, Donald.
Stitch in the 626.
Yes.
Yep, his 626 costume. So you're not only going to have like rare characters, but you're going to have them in very rare costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And they've rented out this entire, area all for this after hours party. Going to be a lot of great people there, including us. So you should check that out. And then, since we're not done yet.
Oh my gosh, we're not done yet?
We just booked last minute. The following weekend, we are going to head back down to see Kat and Michael that first full weekend in October, because they'll be back down there, and we always like to go see them and hang with them any chance we can get. And then we might take a weekend off. I'm not sure yet, but a lot of stuff coming up. And the reason we say all that is this is content you can look forward to on the podcast. We'll obviously be doing episodes on all these happenings. We'll probably do multiple episodes on the Wish. And we do have our 500th episode coming up.
Oh my goodness.
Which we have some ideas about if we can pull it off, which I think will be really cool. And then, you can also see all of this live as it happens in the private Facebook group if you join our Patreon group. That's wonderlandcrew.com. But enough about what's coming up. Let's talk about what happened last weekend, right?
Yeah.
So we were heading down for Labor Day weekend. Again, meeting up with a ton of friends for the weekend, hanging out, just enjoying parks, enjoying food, drink, friends, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. But before all of that, where did we stop to specifically check out opening day of a very special store?
Well, Universal, we were actually stopping by because the Mummy was supposed to have reopened and we wanted to ride it. We were super excited.
Well, yeah, I mean, we didn't know. It was in technical rehearsals all week.
But people were riding it.
Yes, they were. But we knew it was going up and down. I had thought, all right, there's a potential it's up and down, but let's go see.
Right.
They had everything walled off. And so I think they were really just holding for, it's first night of Halloween Horror Nights.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they wanted to run it. I did hear that it was running some that night. I'm really hoping tomorrow night. I haven't seen much about it this week, but I haven't looked. I'm hoping tomorrow night when we go to Horror Nights that it is running so we can at least ride it once. Mm-hmm. But the main thing that we went to see
is, yes, the Halloween Horror Night tribute store.
Yeah.
And every year they always, make these tribute stores, and obviously
every season.
Well, yeah, excuse me.
That's what absolutely blows me away. I mean, this is like if you think the turnover for something like Food and Wine Festival, which is just switching out booths, they take a week to do that. This thing, I mean, what they do to this store is insane.
Yeah, they did the Mardi Gras. Let's see, what else have they done?
Christmas. They had a Jurassic tribute store when Velocicoaster opened. And what's super crazy, I'll say before we get your thoughts on this year's Halloween Horror Nights tribute store, is this isn't last year's Horror Nights tribute store.
No, it isn't.
It would be extremely easy for them just to have everything in a corner of one of their backstage lots or a warehouse that says, all right, it's time for Halloween. Pull out all the exact same stuff that we used last year.
They always do different.
It's fresh every time we've been. Mm-hmm. And what did you think of this year's store?
Oh, I loved it. Every time, though, I go through, I get nervous that something's going to jump out at me. Yeah. Because it is very dark. It is very Halloween-y. But I loved it. I loved everything. It's just super cool. Y'all just need to go see it. I like all the decorations. Like, they have a lot of them, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like a fun haunted house because nothing does jump out at you with, oh, look, here's some merchandise here and there, I felt like.
Yeah.
And I like the merchandise this year, although they only had one tank that I did get that shows all the houses on it, and it's this year's Halloween Horror Nights. Last year's, I got one that said Drop Dead Gorgeous, which was super cool and looked like bloody and stuff. So, yeah, and you were wanting the pumpkin?
Yeah, I wanted a Lil Boo design on a shirt that was a short sleeve, which I was unable to find, but I ended up getting, we went back to the main merchandise, like Universal store there, when you first walk in, and they had, apparently it just come out that day, is the Snacks shirt. Yeah. And it's very retro looking, and it's got the Blinky cup, and it's got, I think it has the twisted taters on it. It's got the pizza fries on it, like all the classic kind of snacks that they have every year. And what's really cool is, and I follow enough people on Twitter, but not a ton. I'm not super plugged into the Universal world, but I've been seeing lots of comments from creators, and I don't know, and somebody can correct me, probably John can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know that they all work directly for Universal, but there's a lot of people that I've seen, like, they're posting a picture of them in the park taking a picture of a shirt, and they're like, this is so cool, I designed this. And it's just,
That's
and I had
super
seen the
cool.
snack ones prior, and I was like, that's a really cool shirt. So I ended up getting that one. But what's so cool about the tribute store is every room is kind of themed to its own thing. And again, it's different every year. So the first room you walked into is kind of Funhouse Carnival, like dark ride, and like almost classic kind of scary, like you said, Funhouse haunted house, where they've even put stickers on the floor that look like a dark ride track.
Yeah,
like you'd be in
that
like an
was
Omni
cool.
mover, a train or something. And then you kind of move into the next one, and it's much more like Legends. You got Michael Myers and stuff like that in there. And then Dracula. As you move down the one hallway that you normally have, they've actually, where you can put, you can submit your photos. You purchase a photo, and they put up like a memorial.
Yeah, that was super
photos
cool
of you, which is cool. And then that third room, shoot, now I'm trying to remember because it's I miss Beetlejuice. I'm glad they don't do the same thing every year, but I miss the Beetlejuice room. And you
see, and that's what I love, that it's not there.
I know.
It is
as much as
cool.
as much as I hate it, I love it.
Yeah.
Because why would I want to go back year after year to see the same thing? And so it's crazy. You finish out, and it looks like this kind of outdoor carnival funhouse type theme. There's always really good snacks to try there.
Yes.
Well, okay. There's a lot of snacks to try there. There's a lot of
in the
Instagram worthy snacks.
Yes, I just started to say, in the store they're always the sweets, more or less, than like actual like food. It's usually all like cakes and
it's all sweet treats.
All sweet treats.
What did we get?
So we actually got the coffin brownie and then a s'mores macaroon, but it was like a ghost, I believe.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was a little ghost.
It was cute.
What did you think of this as far as
I
the
loved
actual
it.
taste and all? I
loved it because I felt like it wasn't like very in your face s'mores, excuse me, but it was very, to me, oh my gosh, what is that word I'm looking for? Light and almost not refreshing, airy, light, airy, and light, airy, and marshmallowy.
Okay,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that we don't even have to describe any of these because they all look picture perfect.
Oh, they're amazing.
What they
Super
do with
cute.
all these and the designs and the way that they will use things like a chocolate brownie, but then they cover it with a hard chocolate that then is covered with a drizzle of, red infused, like colored white chocolate, and then like a little monster or something coming out is outstanding. I thought the macaroon was really good. I just would have never eaten it and thought s'mores because I didn't get any chocolate and I didn't get any graham cracker. Like, I wish that it actually had maybe a layer of chocolate in there with the marshmallow and crushed up graham crackers in between the meringue. And I think it would have been more of a s'more, but it was still very good.
Yeah.
Like you said, light and airy, almost refreshing on a hot day. What did you think about the coffin brownie?
I think liked it better than you.
Yeah.
And then it was super funny because I took a small bite of the coffin brownie, which had all the chocolate, and then a bite of the s'mores macaroon, and I was like, there's our s'more together, our, the chocolate, you get that chocolate taste. I think I did get a little of graham, but it's just, again, that light and like that macaroon taste, I guess.
My only issue with most of their treats is that the flavors are usually really good, but the way that they have to compose the treat to make it look the way it does, it's hard to often get everything in one bite the way you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how this coffin brownie was, because you're first going into it and you've got to get through these thick layers of chocolate that is hardened because it looks great, but then you don't necessarily get to the brownie, which once you do, later you get to the actual like almost fudgy chocolate filling in the brownie. It's just, if you could get everything in one bite, it would be absolutely delicious, but it's hard to get there. And a lot of these are hard to eat. Go back to like the ET. Remember the ET like cake thing that we got? That was near impossible to eat because as soon as you started to break into some of these things just fall apart.
Yep.
They're all over the place. You're finding yourself like, all right, let me get a piece of this, a piece of this, a piece of this.
Yep.
You put them all together and you go, wow, that is delicious.
Yeah.
But you almost have to compose your own. Like you almost should just take it, just smash the whole thing up after you take your photo and then just start eating it. Like forks and spoons almost become useless here. So we did meet up with Rachel there. So we hung out with her for a bit before we went ahead and headed over to Disney. And where were we staying for this trip, Rhonda, which is your first time ever? I'm still going to call it my first time. I slept on a couch bed here once when my brother was speaking at a convention. And so it's like Beach Club. In theory, I've stayed there, but I haven't really stayed there.
Okay.
And now we did 3 nights.
Yes, and we were at the Swan. And we actually shared a room with Lucy and Caleb, and that just worked out really well. So, yeah, and, you know, it's kind of just like your normal Disney kind of resort, although this one is on property, but it is not considered a Disney resort, so you don't have your MagicBand access, but you do have your parking, which if you are a day guest and want to just park there, you can spend $32, or if you're staying night after night, you can also pay $32.
That's so weird to me. So the difference is if you are a resort guest and you've spent all the money to stay at the resort, you pay $32 and you get full in and out access, obviously, not only during your stay, but during that day. So you can come and go as you please and park again. If you're just a guest, a day guest, and you want to park here so you can go visit the boardwalk and restaurants and stuff there, whatever, you pay $32. Now you get to go in. Once you leave, you're done. You can't return that same day. It's just, and I get the difference. It's just so crazy to me.
That's funny.
You know, I mean, the same way that at Disney, all right, you're staying on property, you're staying at a Disney resort, you pay a parking fee. But if you're a guest who has a dining reservation, you come in, you don't pay anything. It just baffles me. And what else do you have to? Oh, and then how much is valet? Which is just well worth it after Lucy and Caleb told us.
Yeah. So actually, valet is only $39 per day.
Yeah, I mean, $7 difference is well worth me not pulling my luggage from a parking lot across the street.
Especially when Lucy and Caleb unfortunately got there, it was raining. Yeah. And she realized it's only a $7 difference. She's like, then I'm done.
Yeah.
And then of course you have a $35 resort fee. So,
and this has always been my thing, or I guess our thing about some of these properties, Swan Dolphin, the new Swan Reserve, some of the closer off-property resorts, not including the Flamingo Crossing area. They don't charge these extra parking and resort fees.
Right.
You know, the resort fee, as they stated, is to allow you access to the pool.
Yep.
To their activities. To, you know, you do get a token to do their little swan paddle boats if you want. To me, it's all the things that should be included in your room fee. So I would rather them not say, all right, Swan room is $220 a night. Just tell me instead that it is $255 a night. And then if you have to add on parking, whatever. Yeah,
and I understand that. But at the same time, you know, where it is located, there are only deluxe resorts around it.
And even when you add everything up, it is still a wonderful price.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is one where I do want to urge. I'm not saying it from a level as I don't believe it's worth it. 100% worth it.
Yeah.
I'm saying it more from a level for people that are unaware.
Yeah.
And they might go, hey, how is the Swan and Dolphin and like Swan Reserve? And we go, it's absolutely incredible. And they're like, that's cool. We got a great rate that is right in our budget because we had a moderate resort budget, or heck, we had even maybe a upper end value resort budget. Now we can stay here. And you're like, yeah. And they go, great, $220 a night. Can't wait. We're staying for 5 nights. And they show up and it's 5 times another $67 if they've got a night, if they've got a car. Still well worth the all-in price because you are staying at basically a deluxe resort.
Right.
I just don't want people to get blinded.
Yeah.
And that's why we constantly kind of mention this. Also, I do believe if you're going to say we're charging you a resort fee to do these things and you choose not to do these things, then you shouldn't have to pay a resort fee. Now, we did use the pool.
Yes, we did.
But we didn't take advantage of anything else technically that falls under a resort fee.
Yeah.
Speaking of the pool, what do you think of this pool at Swan and Dolphin? So Swan Reserve has its own pool. Dolphin has its own like private, almost kind of little pool there right next to the big pool. And then not far off, Swan kind of have its own pool. All three then share what I'll just call the big pool. How is it?
It's big.
Yeah.
It's got a couple hot tubs. It's got a slide. It also has a waterfall. Usually that's on. This time it was not on when we were there, but it's super cool. And underneath that, there's like this cave area that
There's like
still
a grotto.
that has chairs, and then the bathrooms there. It's super cool. And then they even have like waterfall in the pool on the other side of that. And then like you can go under this like bridge, and it's a big pool.
Yeah, it is.
So it's cool.
I mean, I would say because this is on property, even if it's not Disney owned, if we're counting about on property pools, I think this is second to Stormalong Bay.
I would agree with that.
It's absolutely incredible. And then if you're there and you're like, it's getting a little busy here, a little rowdy. I mean, you're 20 yards to one kind of quiet pool, and you're maybe 100 yards to another. There's a beautiful beachy area that you can go do the Swan paddle boats from. At night, they're going to have activities. They're going to do fire and s'mores like your standard Disney resorts. You can take floaties in the pool, or you can rent them or purchase them there.
Yeah, that's super cool.
They do movies by the pool like Disney. There's a pool bar right there that is very good you can go to. Or on every single seat, there is a tag.
And this was new. So
yeah, since last we had been.
This was probably after COVID. So super cool. There, like Jeremy was just about to say, there's a tag that you scan and you can order drinks, food, whatever's on the menu, and it just goes straight to your chair.
Yeah.
And then you can charge it to your room, or you can pay it. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think this is such a great service and feature that I wish Disney would do. You know, I mean, to be able to sit there and just from your phone order directly, they come out, bring it, you can charge it right to your room. I just love, and so the food here is a bit different than the food up at the pool bar, which will have like some tacos and more burgers, sandwiches, things like that. This is much more of what feels like bar food, standard bar food. But we did order the wings, and we got there's either buffalo or Korean glazed. We got the Korean glazed, and then we got an order of onion rings.
Yes, we did.
We ranted and raved, or at least I did, raved about Wyndham Lake Buena Vista's wings. Really, really good. Absolutely love them. These could give those a run for their money. These wings were outstanding.
They were very good. I don't know if it was where I was just really hungry or they were really that good.
They were really that good.
Okay.
Perfectly cooked. I like a real crunchy exterior with those little like knobs almost that come off. You know what I mean?
It's weird.
But then a real tender wing and not too big. And this Korean glaze was delicious.
Yeah, it was. There
Like
was a lot
sweet.
of it too.
There was a ton of it. This was super messy, and it was okay. You could get your choice of blue cheese or ranch. We got both.
No, we didn't.
Oh, we didn't? We just got blue cheese, didn't
Yeah.
we? Michael ended up getting ranch with his buffalo.
Because you couldn't get both. That was
yes,
the
that's
one
right.
thing. Like you could get one or the other, and then you could add like I think more.
I thought the
like
blue
double
cheese was
ranch,
good with it.
Double.
Yeah, I thought the blue cheese was good.
Yeah,
Carrots
both,
and
actually.
celery. And then these onion rings were delicious.
They were.
Super huge, super crunchy, but a tender onion. For me, a good onion ring is when you bite it, and that's what you get, is only the bite you took of the breading in the onion ring. Not where you pull away and the entire onion slithers it away, and then you're just left with crunchy ring.
Yeah.
Still delicious.
Yeah.
I normally like to dip onion rings in something like ketchup or ranch. This needed nothing.
Yeah, it was really good.
Like onion rings can tend to be dry. This was not. I thought everything about this was great. It was a wonderful pool day. It was so dang hot.
That we were in the pool most of the time, and it was really nice because they were allowing you to have your drinks right by the pool.
Yeah, I mean, in for the most part, you know. I totally get Disney's stance on not allowing that alcoholic beverages, you know, in the pool or at the edge of the pool. But it is something, as you know, specifically now, and this is easy to say, is to adults who are not traveling with their kids a majority of the time. We will be at Surfside and Universal, and we will go down to the pool when we get there tomorrow or today when you're listening. You know, so it certainly is different in that manner, but it is nice to be able to be in the pool have your drink in hand. It doesn't even have to be alcoholic. I mean, to be able to sit at a Disney pool on the edge with a soda would be nice.
Right.
And you could do that here. So I do enjoy that. So we did that on Saturday, actually, is when we enjoyed the pool. What do you think about the rooms here? The biggest difference between the Swan and the Dolphin,
Queen
room-wise,
beds.
simply comes down to queen beds in the Swan and full beds in the Dolphin, which
Wow. I like
is a big change. I mean, that's a big difference.
I like that they're queen beds.
Very
I love
much
that.
so. Yeah. Very spacey room.
Yeah, I would say so. And I like how they had 2 sinks and 2, like, almost where if, like, Lucy and I were getting ready at the same time, she could get ready in the bathroom if nobody else was in there. And then I was in the little sink area where it had a mirror and everything.
Yeah. This is originally we had booked Town Place Suites at Flamingo Crossing because we love it. And so months ago, Lucy messaged me and said, hey, I'm on hotels.com. It's a really good rate at Town Place Suites for Labor Day weekend. Do y'all want to go? And I was like, yes, we will. Went in, booked it. We were going to pay about $500 for 3 nights, all in at Town Place Suites. So we were down at Disney a month or 2 later, maybe in a month or 2 ago, and I think it was when we were at Typhoon Lagoon, and she got a notification as a Marriott member, and it said, there were pass holder rates for the Swan. And so she looked it up, and she basically looked at me and said, look, outside of parking, if we split a room at Swan, we're each going to spend the same thing we were doing for an individual room at Town Place. Do y'all want to share a room? We're right on property, right there at the Swan. And we were like, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And so, again, when you're looking at having 4 adults staying in one room, there was more than enough space here.
Yeah.
I will say.
I agree.
There's more than enough storage. There's your college dorm size fridge, but it's not those air quote beverage coolers that Disney put in.
Right.
There's drawers. There's a big screen TV. There is lonely chair as well as a small desk with another rolling chair because this is a major convention center. Like you said, when you walk in and right to your left is a sink. Then there's a door, and behind that door is another sink, toilet, and shower. We had no issues getting ready for our fancy pants dinner at Topolino Saturday night. We're going to cover all of that in another episode.
There's a microwave by the ice machine?
There is a microwave by the ice machine, Rhonda. So I actually thought this was really good because one of the biggest questions at Disney resorts outside of DVC rooms, which include microwaves, is there a microwave in the room? The answer is always no, but you can request one. They are limited. It's first come, first serve. They will bring one to your room. I don't know the numbers that they have, but for me, I've seen 50-50 whether people get one or not, so you certainly can request it. Microwaves are extremely important a lot of times, especially for people that maybe have dietary needs, allergy needs, need to warm up formula or milk for a baby. I mean, and so to have one in a room can be very, very important.
Yep.
And so any Disney resort, you can go down to the food court and there's going to be a microwave there.
Yes.
Not always convenient. So I understand wanting one in your room. What I thought was cool about this is I went to get ice the first day and right there next to the ice machine is a microwave right down the hall from us. And so I went back and I told Rhonda and I was like,
no.
I 100% did. Now, that
you.
doesn't mean you heard me.
Correct.
Or were listening. But
I was not listening.
I said out loud when only Rhonda and I were in the room, there's a microwave by the ice machine. That's really cool. I'm going to put it in my notes. And then later that day, we're coming off the elevator with Lucy and Caleb, and Rhonda goes, oh, wow, there's a microwave right there. And so that was like a running joke every time we got off the elevator that weekend. But I do think that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, shoot, even if you bring home leftovers from a lunch or a dinner and it's late night and you're just like, I don't want to go all the way down to a food court or downstairs.
Yeah.
I want to warm this up. I'm hungry. Microwave next to the ice machine. So that was getting ahead a little bit to Saturday in the pool. But Friday, once Lucy and Caleb arrived, we were going to meet up with them. We were going to meet up with Chuck and Amy and Rachel. And Saturday, we were going to meet up with Chuck and Allie. It was going to be just this awesome group of friends all weekend. But we did head back over to Food and Wine. And you and I made our way to 2 booths as we were on our way to Tambu Lounge because the best bet for us, we had an Epcot Park reservation. Our easiest way to get to Tambu was to go through International Gateway all the way through the park and then monorail over to TTC and then walk to Poly.
Yep.
We got caught up a little bit in Epcot. What did we get caught up
Well, because
on?
I was hungry.
Yes, very.
I was hungry. So it wasn't awful hot out because I think it was going to rain. So I was like, ooh, it's not awful, like hot. So let's go and get the filet from Canada. So we did, and at $9.25, there was a bunch of mushrooms with it. And of course, this filet, I mean, I don't think they ever go wrong with it. It's so good.
I've never had a bad one.
It's very good. Love it.
And we've said, the portion of this size, it's, we're splitting it. We're just each gnawing at it. It's not like you're going to eat one and be like, well, I'm full. There was lunch for $9.25.
Oh, no.
But the comparison of the size of this filet, if you went into Le Cellier for a sit down where you're going to, order drinks and you're going to tip and you're going to get an appetizer and maybe dessert. If you just want that taste of Le Cellier, I mean, even if you went and bought 2 of these, you could almost probably make a little bit of a meal for yourself. I think this steak is so good. The sauce that's on it, I'm not a sauce on a steak guy. This steak does not need it, but I do think it still enhances it.
I will say the only thing it looked like in the picture on the thing, it looked like there was mashed potatoes with it.
That would be incredible.
There was none with this. So I don't know if it just ran
little
out.
Ice cream scoop of mashed potatoes and just sit this right on top would be absolutely incredible. So like, all right, that's fine. We got our little snack. We're heading to Tambu Lounge. Rhonda's gonna see if she can order some noodles and some pot stickers while we're at Tambu.
Yes.
And we get stopped again by Earth Eats.
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
What did we decide to get from there?
Well, we were looking at what they had, and they actually had the Impossible meatballs.
Mm-hmm.
So we've always had Impossible stuff, and we've really enjoyed it. This is $5.75, so we went ahead and got those. They were good, but these were the first time that if you gave them to me and you're like, here's some meatballs, I'd be like, nope, these ain't meatballs.
Yeah.
They're the Impossible ones.
Yeah.
But like I said, it wasn't bad.
No, I really enjoyed them. Yeah, they sat on top of a bed of polenta.
Polenta was very good.
It had like a tomatoey sauce with it, like a smashed tomato kind of sauce and some greens and stuff. Again, I thought it was very, very good, but you're right. It's one of the first times that I've had a Disney Impossible dish where I could tell right off the first bite. Blind taste test. I have had other Disney Impossible dishes that you would be like, this is good. Yeah. And then a minute later, somebody would be like, you're not really eating meat. And you'd be like, what? Like those commercials and stuff. So the burger, we usually get the slider there. The Impossible slider. Same thing with the ones over at Nomad.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoy those. But I do think it is a dish. So I've gotten the Impossible meatballs, the frozen ones from Publix.
Yes, you have.
And that's what these are. There's a different texture. What they're really missing most about a standard meatball is a fattiness and a little bit of that pork flavor, which I understand you're going vegetarian or vegan on these.
Right.
I do think, though, that if you are not vegetarian or vegan, if you are, this is the booth for you. If you're not, don't just turn up your nose at this booth and walk away. Go into it going, look, this is not going to taste like a traditional, like Italian meatball over polenta, but it's still going to be really delicious and really flavorful.
And it really was.
Yeah.
It really was.
I'd get it again.
I sure say it wasn't like we threw it away. In fact, we were trying
every last bit.
Right. We were trying to figure out, like, do you want another bite?
Yeah.
I'll take another bite. Like it was good. It was really good.
So next we were heading for a little Wonderland crew meetup over at Tambu Lounge. And this is one of those, and this was really smart of you because, my thought is, all right, we're going to have to go up front to Epcot. We're going to exit. We're going to hop on the monorail. We're going to have to stop at TTC. And then we'll hop back on the monorail right there, next stop, the Poly. And I completely just kind of forgot as I was planning this that you can walk to Poly, that there is a path direct from TTC right over into Poly. It's probably going to take you less time than it is to wait for another monorail to come around. We did almost get caught in some rain, but it's a nice leisurely walk.
Yeah.
Beautifully landscaped. And then you get to walk through the Poly, and come up through the back of the lobby.
Yeah, that's when it just started to rain, and we were a lot further away though than we anticipated, but we weren't like sopping wet or anything, so that was nice.
I still. And it was hot, so maybe you decide to opt for the monorail and just wait. But for us, we were like, you know what? Let's just walk. We're not in a rush. We can go ahead and do that. So I think the big question is, did you get your noodles and did you get your pot stickers?
I did.
It was slammed over there, first of all.
Oh, yeah. Well, first
night.
of all, we were trying to, yep, you're right, party night. And then we were trying to meet at 4?
Yeah.
Well, Ohana opens at 4. So, everybody that had 4:00 reservations, I think, were at Tambu Lounge having a drink prior.
Yeah.
Like, it was just slam packed. So, of course, if you're familiar with it, it's the whole upstairs, and there's this like section over by where people come in off the monorail. And this had plenty of spots. So we just actually sat there and hung out. And then we could walk up to Tambu and get a walk-up drink.
Yeah.
Or you can walk up and order. And I told her where I was sitting, and because that's not to go, but she brought it over to me. And I mean, it was this wonderful giant bowl of noodles that I actually shared with you.
So good.
And then a big bowl of pot stickers as well, which I shared with you as well. I mean, how many would you literally try not to exaggerate and say there were?
Pot stickers? 15.
I started to say 20.
I'm not kidding.
Lot.
They were like piled on top of each other. And you said you spent about $30 on both of these?
I believe so.
I love Ohana.
With tip, yeah.
I absolutely love Ohana. I think their meats are outstanding, but you can get a large portion of what's on the Ohana menu at Tambu, including the noodles, including the wings, including the pot stickers, including the bread pudding. They do have skewers that you can order as well. I think it's a very viable option, either if you can't get that Ohana reservation or you just want to save a little bit, because we could have gotten almost the entire Ohana menu that you and I could have split for probably about the price of one person going into Ohana.
Yeah.
You know, now again, the atmosphere is very different, but I'm just saying for the food and all, I think that's a really good option if you can't make Ohana or you don't want to, again, pay for each individual person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, huge bowl of noodles.
Mm.
So many pot stickers. I love their pot stickers. They're so perfectly
So
crispy
good.
on the outside where they have a crunch, but then that super tender inside.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the noodles. I will say, I think I may like Captain Cook's noodles more.
See, and I like
they have some
Ohana's.
veggies and all with
Yes. I like Ohana's better. And that's why, like, you originally said something about, like, and if I can't get stuff from Tambu, I can go down to Captain Cook's. Well, I was like, I want the Ohana ones because I've had the Captain Cook ones before and they were fantastic. Don't get me wrong. And I don't know what they put on the noodles for Ohana, but
We've made them at home.
It's something because I was taking the pot stickers and like rubbing the noodle sauce onto the pot sticker, and I was
come
eating.
Anything, right? They didn't even come with like a little cup of soy sauce or anything. That would have been nice if they came with a little soy or teriyaki.
Yeah.
But you know what? I only say that now because I'm thinking of it. It's not like I was eating them at the moment.
Nope.
As I was shoving one after another into my face. Because it was the
So
first major
good.
thing we ate all day, other than the little, two little
and
snacks.
then because
Food
I'm
and
not
Wine.
used to eating that way, and because I ate so many noodles and pot stickers, I was full for like ever.
Yeah. So like
Like
the
I
next day.
ate at 4:30 and I wanted to eat more, and I don't think I ever did.
Yeah.
Like I was so full.
Yeah. Well, it was worth it.
It was.
I mean, so from there, we decided to make our way back. We were going to make our way back to the Swan, actually, because Lucy and Caleb had arrived. Yes.
Sorry, I was going to go back to Tambu, and Amy was there with us, and she had a straw that was put in her drink, and it got to her, and she took it out immediately and was like, oh, don't want that gluten in there. And I was like, what? And she said that gluten is in the paper straws in Disney.
Very interesting to know and very good to know for people.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you do have a gluten allergy like Amy does. And, it's not good. So I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So y'all, if y'all are gluten free, it is gluten in the paper straws.
Yeah, so you may want to order without or not grab one at the areas that have them. Just do like Cat does and just BYOS and bring your own straws.
Yep. Or you can get some from, and I'd have to ask Amy, I'm not sure, but Joffrey's always has those.
Yeah, they do. Those non-paper, but they're, what are they? Is it an agave or something?
Something
weird? I don't know. But we made our way back to the Swan to meet up with Lucy and Caleb and brought in the rest of the group like into the room. So we partied in there for a little bit. And then we were going to head down back to Epcot. Had to ride Cosmic Rewind.
Yep.
We got a big boarding group, virtual group that day. I'll just, right now, spoiler alert, wrote it 2 more times this weekend, got Everybody Wants to Rule the World twice. Both times. Still no September for us after 11 rides.
Rachel got every single song.
She's killing it on Cosmic Rewind ride. Same with Chuck and Allie and Alex and all. So we wanted to see Harmonious. Rhonda and I had picked up that day the Jack and Sally MagicBand Pluses.
Yes.
And we had not yet done the interaction with a fireworks show with MagicBand Plus, where we had done the statues and a few other, Play Disney type things. It was starting to rain and all, so we ended up it rained us out because they weren't going to go on in time. And half of our group kind of left to go to the boardwalk area. The rest of us were like, all right, let's go ahead and just go back. We can try and catch it tomorrow night. So we did end up catching it Saturday night. Mm-hmm. And I did not have my MagicBand Plus at the time. We got off Cosmic
Rewind, and it was just right about to start, and it was amazing.
I
loved it.
The MagicBand Pluses, if you don't like them, you don't like them. I'm not going to try and, do a PowerPoint presentation on why you should like them. I'm not going to tell you that they're great. I'm not going to tell you that you should buy one. We really like them.
Yes.
For what they are. And as I've said, especially if we do the pre-order or even if we buy a regularly priced one with our 20% off AP discount, they're still less expensive than the majority of the limited edition regular, MagicBand 2s I was buying. Mm-hmm. So the fact that, I don't know, I scan into a turnstile and it vibrates and it lights up and just makes me smile a little bit, or the fact that you can walk up to one of these, 50th statues and it says something to you, or the fact that you guys all Wonder Twinned, all these, or I guess it'd be more like Power Rangers. We had 4 wrists in here.
Cool.
And imagine the photo, like the stock photo of 4 hands coming all in together and these bands just lighting up in circles, 2 harmonious with different lighting based on what's going on.
So cool.
I think it's cool.
You were so jealous you didn't have yours on.
Mine. I'm just there taking photos and I really enjoy the MagicBand Pluses. I do believe, and maybe we hear from D23 this weekend, that more interactivity's coming. It'd be neat to see some different ride interactivity. It'd be neat to see more things happen like they're doing with the Batu Bounty Hunter over in Galaxy's Edge, where, you are going to have scavenger hunts, even one where maybe it comes down to Disney Springs. I think of the way that we did the Main Street 16 challenge last year with the scavenger hunt that Friday. We used that app Move, which geo-located different areas. It'd be so cool to open up your phone in the Play Disney app and it gives you a clue and you go to that location and collect points and a check mark.
Right.
And after you do a certain amount, you are somehow rewarded. Kind of things that we have been promised in different ways all along. If they could finally make it happen, I just think it would be incredible.
Yeah.
Even one of the ones I've always wanted, and I don't know how any of this technology would work, is I think it's really cool with the newer updated TVs. You walk into a room and it'll say, TV's on, welcome Stein party. Mm-hmm. Right. I would love to see where the Magic Bands can actually then interact with your room as well. With Hey Disney, that is going to be coming with the Alexa devices and all. You scan into your door, which then changes the way that your room reacts to you, where you could preset different things. I'm going on a whole other tangent here. And I'm not saying this is capable of MagicBand Plus. This is a whole other technology, but imagine presetting your preferences for your room, which is, I like this amount of lighting. I like my air conditioning set to this amount.
Okay.
Who
are you, the Jetsons?
I'm just saying. The Jetsons happened like 10 years ago at this point, I'm pretty sure. So we're still waiting on a bunch of that stuff. I'm still waiting for my flying car. But think of that. You walk in, not only is the TV on, it says, welcome Stein family, but there's also an area that will display all your photo passes, or will show you your plans for a day. So you wake up and as soon as you get off your phone and go, yay, Cosmic Rewind, you're able to look up, turn on your TV or whatever, and it shows your plans. Cosmic Rewind boarding group, here's what they're currently calling. Like, same thing with the Hey Disney, where you could then say, hey Disney, what are my plans for today? And I don't know the
Can we get that for our house?
I think it'd be amazing. So completely off base. They're not announcing any of that stuff this weekend. Anyway, we did close down Friday night, though, at Komodo's in the Swan, where they do karaoke.
Oh, yeah.
And I do love me some karaoke.
Yes. And at this point
no longer a performer, but I do enjoy watching.
Yeah. And at this point now, I was cold. So I was like, do y'all have a clear soup?
Yes.
So they did, and it was good.
I'd like to go sit for a proper meal there.
Yeah, I bet it was great.
Yeah.
Lucy and Caleb got some sushi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was good.
They have some really wonderful options at the Swan and Dolphin between, Blue Zoo, Il Molino, Komodo's. There's a lot of really good places that you can eat here that I think go under the radar because they're not Disney owned and property restaurants and stuff like that. So as we said, Saturday morning we did the pool for a large majority of the morning, and then we all got ready and fancy for Topolino's. We'll cover that on an episode coming up here in the next week. But after Topolino's, that's when we ended up saying we got to go back. We got to catch Cosmic Rewind in all our fancy outfits, which was great. And then that's when we did Harmonious again. Then that night kind of ended along the boardwalk, which is why I think any of these boardwalk areas is so wonderful, especially on maybe a date night or an adults only trip or those bachelorette parties. There's so many options there. And so first ended up at Abracadbar, which is such a wonderful, wonderful spot. Lucy and Caleb said the charcuterie was outstanding.
Yes.
I think we've had it in the past.
Sitting with them when they were, and they asked if I wanted some, but I didn't because I was still full. I was still full from Tambu.
But this is the next night. You were hopefully full from Topolino's. If you're still full from Tambu.
Excuse me, it was Topolino's.
Yeah, this is night 2.
Yeah, because I couldn't believe they were eating.
But what's great about this is for example, Michael and I were not grabbing a drink or anything to eat at Abracadabbar. We don't necessarily want to split up from our group or anything and have to go somewhere completely different. But we also didn't want to just take up spaces at the bar or any of the, bar top type areas. So we just went right outside and just hung out. And it was a beautiful evening. You're right there on the boardwalk. There's going to be live entertainment right down the way. There's those carnival games. There's just so much to do there. Then we ended up over from there hopping to Big River Grille, which is a place that I don't think a lot of people talk about. At this point, some hunger had set back in for all of us because we got a big plate of nachos.
Yeah, I didn't eat much of those though.
I did.
They were good though.
They were really,
I did
really
taste
good.
them, and yes, they were. That's right.
Now,
but this was like almost midnight.
Oh yeah, this is getting late because Lucy wanted to watch the Florida Gator game.
Yes, and I like watching
went down to the wire and was a blast
with her. Yeah.
Not a Florida Gator fan. I mean, for me, I don't really cheer for anybody but Duke basketball, but I love watching people who are passionate about their team, whoever the team is. I want to watch for them to enjoy it and them to be happy. And boy, was she happy because that game, came down to the wire and it was super fun to watch. And you're in Florida, so there's a lot of other Florida Gator fans there. And it was just so much fun. The nachos were bar food nachos, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. It's chips layered with just ground beef and nacho cheese and a couple little veggies here and there and some jalapenos. And I thought they were very good, very large portion, fed a lot of our crowd. So really, really enjoyed going there. So Sunday, we didn't really have a plan other than getting up and trying to get Cosmic Rewind and maybe going to Epcot. But then it kind of hit, we're like, let's just maybe do kind of like a resort bar hop day on Sunday. And this is going to be our last day. We're going to go home Monday because it's Labor Day. So we're right there at Swan, and we knew we wanted to get over to Bar Riva at some point because our friends Chris and Marcy and Ken and Adam were going to all be over there. And we knew an overlap period where they were changing staff that we're like, all right, if we get there around 3, we can catch everybody. And then that evening, we knew starting at 5, we really want to go to Scat Cats Club to see our good friend Steve.
Yes.
And we love it over there.
Yes.
And
I wanted
you wanted beignets. So I'm like, all right, well, there's really no point in us hanging around the room. And there's really no point in us just probably hopping over into Epcot and just sweating to death. I was like, Swan Reserve is right next door. We hadn't visited it. Kat and Michael had before and loved it. Lucy and Caleb hadn't been there. So I was like, all right, they've got a bar like on the 3rd floor outside of the pool called Tangerine. It's like, why don't we go over there? Let's start there. They open at 11. We'll check it out. So I messaged our friends Jessica and Landon from Vacation Grocery Delivery, vacationgrocerydeliveryfl.com. I'm telling you, use them for your next grocery delivery needs. If you're on property, it is well worth it. Not only is it run by and employs former cast members that mostly, if not all, were affected by the pandemic. There are no markup fees on their individual items. A lot of people, especially if you're from out of state, may not realize you see a price on something at Publix And you're like, oh, that's the price of it down here. Boy, that's a little more expensive. Yeah, because they're jacking up the price. Instacart, Shipt, whoever, they're making it more expensive.
Right.
They're then charging you delivery fees based on how much you order. There's one flat fee for vacation grocery delivery. So they are not only the best priced delivery service in the area, you're not going to find better service overall.
Yes.
And you're not going to find it run by two more awesome people. So Jessica's like, let me finish up some work and we will meet you there.
Aw.
What did you think of coming into Swan Reserve? Our first experience coming in on that bottom floor is right across the street from the pool area at Swan and Dolphin. And then we headed up to Tangerine.
It was cute. It was little. It reminded me of the Contemporary.
Okay.
Where
when you first walk in, it's kind of underwhelming.
It's just this little desk, and then there's what do you call them? Escalators going up, and then you go up, and it's much more. Oh wow, that's pretty, and that's nice, and
very elegant.
Yeah.
And very modern, very clean. I mean, it is very new. And then there's a coffee shop there. There is Amare, their signature style restaurant. You come out to a very interesting pool, which is, I mean, it's a rooftop pool only because it's not on the first floor, in my opinion, right? But it's not like the rooftop, which I originally thought it was.
It's not on the roof.
It's on a roof. Underneath it is another story.
Okay.
So it would technically be a roof.
Okay.
It's just not the toppest of roofs.
Okay.
Roofuses.
Okay.
Yeah, Tangerine is up there. Beth was our bartender. This is a really cool spot.
Yeah, it was. It was
this
really
is
cool.
chill. Total summer vibes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you get there? You got like an orange, you got your creamsicle drink, right?
Yeah, it was some frozen like creamsicle drink that was supposed to be in a keepsake ball, like disco ball globe.
They were out of them, but she showed us one from the trash, and I wasn't super impressed. I didn't feel like we lost out.
Correct.
It would have just taken up space.
Yes. It had probably been thrown away, honestly. So
they have a really good looking elevated bar menu with lots of flatbreads, sandwiches, things like that.
We were gonna get something, but the only reason we didn't is because I wanted to eat at Bar Riva.
Yeah.
So
Lucy and Caleb, though, however, they did get the char grilled pepper crostini.
Yes, and you ate one, right?
Yeah, this was grilled and marinated bell peppers, garlic, parsley, grated manchego cheese, and grilled bread for $14. I think there were about 5 of these, and they let me taste one. This is like a, I don't know what you would call it. I mean, it's almost like a bruschetta? But just in a completely different way. It's like replace the tomatoes with bell peppers, basically.
Okay.
This was really good, super flavorful. What took me off guard, and it was fine because it was hot out, is it was all cold. I know bruschetta is cold.
Yeah.
But to me, when you're saying grilled bell peppers, I'm thinking it's going to be hot.
Huh. Okay.
But I loved it.
Okay.
I once you're eating it, you're like, yeah, this needs to be cold and then now that I read it back, they're grilled and then marinated. They're not marinated and grilled peppers. So I just read it almost backwards. But I loved it. Now, maybe during the colder months, it would be good if it was hot, but super fresh, super flavorful. You got a lot of punch of garlic, parsley. Love the manchego grated cheese on top.
Nice.
Caleb was like, what is that? Like, it's manchego, dude. That stuff is good. So I would recommend that.
Nice.
Jessica and Landon came. She got the club sandwich, which was huge.
Was it?
And then they've got fries that are very much like Three Bridges with the paprika.
Nice.
Absolutely delicious. And then Landon got a pizza, which looked like a amazing wood-fired pizza.
Nice.
So they loved what they got. And so you guys headed off because you were going to head over to Bar Riva, and I was going to hang out with Jessica and Landon for a little bit. How did you decide to get over there, and why?
Lucy decided. She said, we're Ubering.
Yeah.
We're not trying to walk and trying to do this stuff. She's like, it's hot. And it was. So we Ubered right over on over to Bar Riva. And then, it was awesome because
I would recommend Uber. I would 100% recommend Uber. So we walked all the way down to International Gateway, and then we took the Skyliner over. Only reason I would recommend Uber is the fact that you're going to get there quicker, and you're not going to be so hot. Now, for me, I was having some arthritis flare-up issues this past weekend, so walking probably wasn't the best idea that far. We enjoyed it about halfway, and then we were kind of like, all right, this was not the best of ideas. But then you do get on that Skyliner, and that breeze comes through, and it feels great. So we all gathered at Bar Riva. I ended up getting the pepperoni and sausage pizza there, which, as we've mentioned in the past, you can order anything off Primo Piatto's menu.
And I got the croque monsieur.
Yeah, you did.
So good.
That thing is delicious.
Yep. And I was like, and I'm going to get fries too.
Yeah. I love their fries.
Yep.
They're some of my favorite on
good.
property with the shaved Parmesan and everything on top. A little bit of parsley is so good. So I ate that whole pizza up. You even ate some. Because I guess you were finally not full from Tambu 2 nights prior, right?
Yeah.
So love Bar Riva, got to see everybody there. And then we went ahead and Ubered on over to Scat Cats Club.
Yes.
And so we go in, and so there's Scat Cats Club on the left, and then there's the cafe on the right. This is over at French Quarter. So we first went in, and 5 o'clock, a Scat Cats Club opens up. So we were like, all right, we're going to go ahead and grab the beignets from the cafe, because they're about to open in a couple minutes, and we'll just take them inside. Because the beignets you get at the cafe vary only for the fact that you get, let me double check. I believe you get half a dozen of them in your choice of one dipping sauce. When you go into the actual club, you get beignets with 3 different dipping sauces, and you get less. So it's just slight variances. And we're like, we just want as many beignets as we can, and we just one dipping sauce is fine. So we go in, and you're getting ready to order. We see Steve, and then
we also see Santos.
Yeah, we see Santos.
So it was awesome.
Who we first met at the opening of Kronos Club over 3 years ago now. He had made his way over to Riviera, and he is now at Scat Cats Club. If you see Santos, say hello to him. He is so wonderful.
He is.
So he and Steve are like, all right, you guys are here. We're opening at 5. He's like, just go ahead and let's place your order. How many beignets do you want? I think you said all of them. Or something.
And what's really cool too is Amy was with us, and they actually have a gluten-free Mickey beignet for her. I was super excited. It is. And what's super cool is Lucy also was with us, and she is a New Orleans girl, and this was the first time she's ever tasted them, and she was a little nervous because she is like a Cafe du Monde girl. So she actually tasted Amy's, I believe, as well. And I think we all tasted Amy's. Oh my gosh, I almost couldn't tell a difference. It was a little more denser, Amy's, which was really cool because Lucy said it's more like Cafe du Monde. So I thought all that was cool. Lucy loved them. We all loved them. But now continue. We got them, and I just wanted to tell that part.
I'll say I'm not going to say I prefer the lightness of the Mickey beignets over the Cafe du Monde, which are much denser.
Yeah.
I think the flavor of the ones at Cafe du Monde is better.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So if you could find some sort of merge those two, I think it would be perfect. But no, it was wonderful. We came in, we had this awesome area set up, which is right near, it's like a pop-up bar as you walk in currently. There's no seats or anything there. And there's almost a little front area. And then you walk into the main huge area where the stage is, and there's some booze and table, and it's a really big area, very, New Orleans jazz bar, but kind of elegant in a way. And so we always get this table that's right off to the left there. It's perfect because you can both hear the music and the conversation.
Yes.
And that's what I love about that section. And so we had a great setup there. We had beignets laid out all over the table. Santos was so nice and brought us 2 orders of their Mardi Gras fritters.
Oh my goodness. Those are so good.
We've had these before. They are house-made pimento cheese fritters with pepper jelly.
So good.
$10.99.
So good.
I'm sorry, these are $12. $10.99 with the dozen beignets. They're absolutely outstanding. I love these more than anything.
Yeah.
And so we sat, and Steve was nice enough to make us some Main Street Magics. His cocktail, you can order one if you see him there.
Yes.
This is Tito's lemon juice, water, and then a splash of a cranberry juice floater, plus a little cute glow cube in there, lights up red. So we had a round of those for the table. Then Chuck Frazier, our good friend, he and Amy, who we were so glad it was Amy's birthday.
Yes.
And it was so great to connect with them. We had met them, I feel, very briefly, during the Main Street 16 challenge. We've kept in touch. I was so excited when we heard they were going to be there, and we had such a wonderful time getting to know them better. Can't wait to hang out with them again sometime soon.
Well, it's really cool because, this is how small I feel like the world is, and my mom kept saying it. So, my parents are I don't know real quick backstory if I've told everything, but my aunt and uncle live in Alabama, and they gave my parents 3.5 acres of land. And my parents were going to build a cabin on it, and they were going to like live here and there. Well, my parents have decided they are going to sell their house, and they are going to be there and then just come here for visits with their trailer. So every time I tell people where they are moving to, and my daddy was like, told us like one city that's near it. And I'm like, no, daddy, tell me where you're going to be. Yeah. I don't care what it's near because I don't even know what it's near. Well, it was so funny because it is Valley Head. And I told Chuck and Amy, and they said, Valley Head? We're like an hour from there. And I was like, holy crap, are you serious? And it was amazing. So I was telling my mom recently, and she said, well, our house won't be ready. And I said, well, hopefully Amy and Chuck have a extra room where we can go stay with them, hang out with them, and then go visit my parents for the day, and then go back and hang out with Chuck and Amy. So
for sure. No, we're planning it. We're gonna plan it. But anyway, so Chuck had been telling me about this. I'm not a dark liquor guy. I don't like whiskeys and bourbons and all those types of things. But he kept telling me about this smoked turkey. And
like wild turkey? My daddy used to drink that.
Well, listen. So you're gonna hear the smoked part. I had never heard of it, and I'm sure plenty of people have. And so he's like, I'm gonna order you one. I'm like, all right, go ahead. I'll try whatever. I'm game for most things, unless he said I'm gonna get you a smoked pickle or something. We're not doing that. So this is wild turkey, Jim Beam. It's got lemonade, simple syrup, grenadine, and then liquid smoke.
Okay.
And this is a very smoky, bourbony, whiskey flavored drink. I will say, I actually enjoyed it.
Wow.
Maybe I'll start dabbling in things like these as like after dinner drink. I'll talk about the one I had at Topolino's on that episode. You tasted it.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I don't know how y'all drink that. My daddy used to drink wild turkeys. On their first date, my dad had 5 wild turkeys. Like, ugh,
no,
gross.
I've not. This is one of those where first it took me like an hour to drink it, which I enjoy. I like just sipping it and having something to sip like that. And then at the end of it, if somebody was like, would you like another one and $1,000, I'd be like, no, I'm good. I don't need that.
Well, what did Chuck and Amy get? Because whatever they got, I tasted, and I was like, that was better, but it still was
I think it was still
gross.
bourbon. Yeah, it was. I'm sticking to my Main Street Magic beverage.
Yeah.
But so we had a wonderful time there, and then we were like, you know what? We're not done yet. Everybody, let's make our way back to the Swan. And we popped into Il Molino and stood at the corner of the bar there.
And watched Florida State.
Yes, Florida State, which again, down to the last second, pretty much.
1 point they won.
On a blocked field goal.
Yeah, so
which
cool.
was nuts. So they do have a lot of gluten-free options.
Yep.
Everywhere we go, if we see calamari, we pretty much get it.
Mm-hmm.
So ordered calamari. This is lightly fried calamari with a spicy marinara sauce for $18.
Mm-hmm.
And then the polpette al forno, which is Italian meatballs with tomato basil sauce and Parmesan cheese for $15.
And Lucy got a whole pizza, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because we were sitting like in the inn there, and I remember getting up the next morning. I just looked and saw a completely empty pizza box, and I was like, I'm just going over the past 3 days, and I'm like, there's a lot of pizza eaten like over the course of this weekend by everyone. I feel like almost in all of our different parties, which I can't go wrong there. But I thought these were real good. I've heard such wonderful things about Il Molino, and we would love to go back for like a proper sit down meal. Originally, we had plans on Friday night with Lucy and Caleb, and then I was just like, I just don't know if we can swing like another huge giant sit down meal that weekend. So we're like, all right. Instead, we ended up doing Tambu, which you're still full from today.
So good.
But this is, thank you guys for listening. We like to do some of these where, we don't always feel that there's a full dedication. Whereas like Topolino's, I think warrants, especially because we had a group of 9.
Yes.
Topolino's warrants a full episode where we can talk about all these dishes and our entire experience from beginning to end. And we don't want it to get lost in an episode like this. But we like doing these trip reviews, or we can throw out little things like, hey, maybe this is a better way to get from Swan Reserve to Bar Riva. Here are some wonderful dishes that maybe you didn't think of. You can get the full Primo Piatto menu at Bar Riva. So we always want to make sure, hopefully, that you guys get some information and some tips and tricks out of these types of episodes. But coming up, we are going to have our Halloween Horror Night 31 review, our Topolino's review, our review of the Disney Wish, and probably multiple episodes because we'd like to do an adult review and a kid review with the girls.
Because the girls are going.
I know the girls are going. I'm super excited for them.
Excited.
We're going to have a DizCon review, the After Hours review. We'll give updates on Mickey's Not So Scary. Our weekend back when we go see Cat and Michael. We've just got a ton of stuff coming up. We can't wait to bring you. We'll get back to some fun topical and top 5, top 10 episodes as well. But right now we are jam-packing it full of content.
Woo!
You can get all that extra stuff, live streams on wonderlandcrew.com. That is our Patreon group. Hit subscribe for those brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. While you're out there, would you be so kind and leave us a rating and review?
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.